A theater owner in Michigan is getting questions about the newest Disney animated release. It's a question that we've all been asking for some time, but now it seems that the general public is starting to catch wind of what's going on with the Disney company. Potential audiences aren't asking whether or not the latest Disney movie is good. They're not asking if kids will enjoy it. They're asking if it's even safe for kids to watch it. Let's talk about that here on That Park Place. Hello, this is Jonas J. Campbell. I'm an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and I wanted to talk about this tweet from Mark C. Bott. Mark tweets a lot about the movie business. In fact, he owns a theater up in Michigan. And he says, people are losing trust in Disney. We showed Wish to big crowds this weekend, but I have had more people ask me if it was safe to bring their children or grandchildren to than any other movie we have ever shown. People used to never ask that with a Disney movie. In my line of work, I've been aware of this for some time. Even before Lightyear came out, I started to get wind of some issues. Anyways, in our discussion about Wish and the state of the Walt Disney Company on That Park Place Live, we had our panelists talk about this, and this tweet in particular came up. Let's get to it. Of course, we have this review up from WDW Pro. I'm not going to take you all through it again. I think we all know that this movie is a stinker. And as we all vote with our dollars, it looks like the numbers agrees that this movie is a stinker. $50 million at the global box office. And I'm rounding up to be nice. $30 million US. And this is including, whatever, it's Tuesday. Again, that town hall meeting, I'm sure that Bob Iger would love to go into that town hall meeting today with Josh D'Amaro and Alan Bergman and Dana Walden and I forget who the other one is. Oh, Jimmy Pitaro from ESPN. And be able to say, oh, yeah, we're dominating at the box office. No. There's part of me that wonders if he's going to pretend like this one is a success in some way, because he did that. He did that on the call. He said, yeah, we got the Marvels and we got Wish coming up. It's going to be great. He knew that this was not going to be great.
But the pushback that I've been getting on these numbers is that it wasn't released. There are 20-something other markets that it hasn't been released in internationally. And I'm like, oh, so what? It would be sitting at $60 million?
I'm also hearing from some exhibitors in the United States, some theaters are already pulling Wish because no one is going to see it. And they would rather give that space to something that people are going to watch.
In the 3-day, this thing made $19 million. In the same 3-day weekend, Trolls Band Together made $17 million. Yeah. That was released the week prior. I mean, nobody's going to this. When I went to it last night, because the boss said, hey, you better see Wish. I was like, all right, we're going to do that. So when I went last night to a late night screening.
You will like it.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, I get it. I understand. Ain't no worries about it. Hey, if you want to speak about these things, you got to see these films. But there was a couple in front of me, and I looked at what they were seeing because they were like the only ones there. What I see? They're seeing Trolls Band Together. Couldn't believe it, and I was the only one in my theater to actually see Wish. Nobody, I admit that's a little bit late, but nobody's seeing this. It's just not getting the demand, and apparently exhibitors are being asked, like, is this safe for my kids or whatever? Is this going to be... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, in that idea that the movies are the core of everything else they do, and that we agree there won't be a show or an attraction or anything from Wish, seems to me I remember seeing that Trolls is part of the mini park that Universal's building in Plano, Texas.
Yes, because that one is fully owned by Universal Studios. They have no reason not to expand it. They're also doing DreamWorks Land at Universal Orlando.
Sure. But I'm just saying it's the parents and the grandparents that pay for the tickets and the goodies, and they know what. When you say you saw an adult couple watching it, that's why.
Right, okay, and I'll also point out real quick that the marketers for these movies know that for every dollar they spend making a Trolls film, this obviously doesn't apply to Disney right now, but the marketers for a Trolls film know that every dollar that they spend, because they're responsible with their spending, they make 10 back in merchandising.
Yeah, and Disney's not doing that, but I want to reflect back on something that Vash just said, because he's full of genius today.
Only
the
today?
The fact that the theaters, he's always full of genius, but today especially so. But let's reflect back on what he said. There are people going to the exhibitors, the operators of the theaters, and asking, "Is this safe for my kids?" Okay, let's revisit that, because that is amazing. Somebody going to an exhibitor and saying specifically, is this safe for my kids for a Disney movie, an animated film? That is not a question that anybody should be asking about Disney. And the audience does not trust Disney. The audience doesn't believe Disney is a family brand anymore. And I think all of us here have been saying this for several years now, that Disney has abandoned their core principle of being for family.
This is perfect. You couldn't pick a better thing to say for us to transition here to the meat of this right here. First of all, this tweet, Mark Seabot, which they have a theater in Michigan. People are losing trust in Disney. We showed Wish to big crowds this weekend, but I've had more people ask me if it was safe to bring their children or grandchildren to than any other movie we have shown. People used to never talk like that with a Disney movie.
Movie quiz. The phrase, is it safe? What does that remind you of?
Well, it reminds me of the
Marathon
Lord of the Rings,
Man.
but most movies remind me of
Before
Lord of the
Laurence
Rings.
Olivier is about to drill Dustin Hoffman's teeth to find out if it's safe for him to get his diamonds.
Oh,
Is it
wow.
safe? Is it safe? Oh, God. I mean, the fear inherent in that is very real.
Yes.
Children's entertainment. I mean, families are, they used to have buy-in, they used to have trust, and now that's eroded somewhat, and we are seeing it. And I think the box office is a reflection of it. Go ahead, Jonas.
Mm-hmm. Disney animators reportedly revealed that Wish was a disaster behind the scenes. This article by Lou Wasserman's Ghost. I don't mean to embarrass you by reading your own work or put you too much on the spot here.
It was a quickie. Go for it.
Film Threats, Chris Gore and Alan Ng, which we are very proud to call Chris Gore and Alan Ng friends of the channel, have some inside info about Making Wish and why it is so amazingly weak regarding its animation or lack thereof. This is in addition to the story and inserted wokeness, but purely about how downright pale, flabby, and under-animated the movie is. Now, this is a question that we get a lot in the debate about this film. There are people who are going and enjoying the film, and that's fine. We don't fault anybody for enjoying this film in particular, because the wokeness is not the wokeness that we've been talking about in general. What kind of wokeness does this film have?
Well, I kind of said it's a postmodern, it's kind of a new age or progressive film, but not necessarily woke. It's not preachy necessarily, right? It doesn't have gender ideology.
That's the one I was that's the one I was trying to lead us to here. Is it's not gender ideology as in the nobody has inserted pronouns, and nobody has there's no analog people that are not digital or binary in it. This is a movie that is ideologically woke, but it is not woke in the sense that it has something in it that is there may be some activism streaks in there that you got to make sure children understand what.
And unlike Strange World, and unlike the Toy Story redo, it's not out there proudly proclaiming that that's what it is. So when these people compare those, apples and oranges are involved. So
well, it's also I mean I would characterize it as intersectional feminism, but that's where I would leave it at as far as what grade of woke or level of woke is in the film.
Right, it's woke in the generalized sense that it is.
This keeps reminding me of the Monty Python spam sketch. It hasn't got much woke in it, but
this is woke light. This is like we
a third less calories than Dylan Mulvaney's beer.
Exactly.
Right. It's more woke than say Sonic the Hedgehog 2 when they throw in that line about Donald Trump in the middle of the final battle. It's like, okay, why did we need to be reminded about this guy in the battle?
Or more recently, Doctor Who asking a alien what its pronouns are.
Oh,
well, yeah, I would say that one is definitely woke. Whereas this one is more like they're generally against the standards of Western civilization kind of woke, as opposed to, here's a specific thing that they've said is definitely wrong. Okay. This one stands against the patriarchy, and they tend to dislike Magnifico. They come up with a reason for him to be a villain somewhere towards the end of it, more than he's actually a real villain.
I would argue he's more of a victim when he well, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there is
Spoil away. No one cares at this point.
All right. So there's this kind of magical book or text, right, that they say, oh, it's dangerous, don't open it, don't do this, it'll, it's dark magic or whatever, and then they reveal that dark magic corrupts, and so there's a question of, well, is it he was doing this, or is it the corruption of this dark magic taking him over and impacting his actions, kind of thing? It's a weird, muddled message. And by the way, that kind of follows Asha as well in this piece. They want to make her an empowering, strong woman, but she doesn't really do anything. Everything happens around her, and everything happens kind of to her or by other people. It's a weird message, very muddled.
Here's a question.
Did you notice that book was in a safe in a different room, depending on the scene?
Yes,
in
it bounced around.
Yeah, she accidentally kind of opens the safe, and the safe is in a different room. And then when he goes for the book, it's in like a tower with big open windows, as opposed to the first room that she was in.
One of the major problems with the film as you're describing it, and with a lot of modern Disney content, is that yes, things are happening around the character that you're supposed to think is the good one, but they really are just having those things happen around them. They are never really actively involved in their own story.
Right.
So this is describing the experience of what young people expect now, to be handed everything without merit, without experience, without a push forward, without motivation, and they kind of like, well, you just exist, kid. We'll get you from beginning to end of this, and that's very infantile, if not, disgustingly supportive of the destruction of morals, ethics, whatever you want to call it, the life experience.
Well, and William Goldman, famous writer, screenwriter, author of, among other things, A Princess Bride, he talked about writing a script once and presenting it to a major Hollywood star, and the guy saying, this isn't for me because I'm the guy that makes things happen, not the guy that things happen to.
Ooh.
And that's the definition of a starring role, even for a cartoon.
Right,
well,
right.
You think
of course,
about
we can always reference Raiders of the Lost Ark. The joke is that Raiders of the Lost Ark would have happened whether or not Indiana Jones was there or not. But he's doing things the entire time. He's contributing. Also, he's looking pretty cool while he's doing it. This conversation was originally part of That Park Place Live, which we do every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Feel free to hit the notification bell if you want to know when we do that. Of course, like this video if you like this video, share it out on social media if you know someone who might be interested, and we would all be honored if you would subscribe to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.